Hi, I'm Monsignor Jamie, and welcome to Breaking Bread. On today's episode, I'll be preparing a real comfort food, meatloaf. But before we go into that, I'd like to introduce to you Jennifer Callipo from the Olive Oil of the Month Club. And she's going to be speaking to us about different types of olive oils, where the regions that they come from, and what olive oils go with certain foods. Jennifer, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
I never knew there were so many different types of olive oils and regions where they come from and the taste, and I'd like you to really, tell us a little bit about olive oil.
My pleasure. So you can think about olive oil like you do like wine. There's different grapes with olive oil. There's different olives, different cultivars, different regions, different terroir, different soil. The weather affects the different
So they all have
flavors.
different taste.
They all
and
have
flavors.
different tastes. So we do different regions. So we focus in on different regions every month, and we highlight the different flavor profiles that each region has to offer.
Right. Now, this Olive Oil of the Month Club, that means every month you get to taste a different olive oil from a different region?
Right, it's this fun club. Each month, delivered to your house, you get a new surprise of olive oil with a brochure, with a recipe, and you get to experiment with these different olive oils. So whatever you're making, if you're making fish or you're making meatloaf or you're making pasta, you can start to understand which olive oils you should be using, like you would with wine. And it all depends on your palate.
Okay. Well, speaking of olive oil, you brought some olive oil here with us today. Now, what type of olive oil is this?
This is from Calabria.
Okay.
It's called Carolea, is the cultivar, the grape, and it's from Lamezia. So it's all the way south Italy in Calabria. It's a light, very sweet olive oil. So perfect for your meatloaf. You don't want it to be too overpowering, nice to saute. You could also use it for salad, fish. So it's really light.
Maybe that's why so many dishes taste so good from Calabria. I love the Calabrese.
That's what my husband says too.
So now we're going to prepare this meatloaf, and we're going to start off with some olive oil.
Okay.
And we're going to just put a little olive oil on the bottom of the pan here. And I'm going to then saute. Let that get a little warmer. I'm going to saute some onions and mushrooms.
Okay.
And then I'm going to incorporate that into my meatloaf. And here I'm going to start out with some beef, pork, and veal. And then I'll get some bread. And a lot of times we use white bread, but since today everyone's so health conscious, I'm going to use some whole wheat bread. And I have a little trick to use seltzer, just to wet the bread rather than milk or water. And for some reason, it gives it a nice moist, the meatloafs always come out moist.
Okay.
So I don't know what the trick is, but the club soda really works. And then I'll incorporate an egg, some salt and pepper, and some thyme. And then I'm going to form a loaf, and I'm going to cover it with some bacon, and then some peas and a little tomato sauce. So let's get going. I think our oil here is getting a little hot. We'll first start out with chopped up about a nice sized onion. Saute that a little bit. I'm going to saute this, let them get a little bit transparent before I throw in the mushrooms, because the mushrooms are going to let out a lot of water. Okay. So while that's cooking, now they say that certain olive oils you shouldn't fry with or saute with. What's the theory behind that?
Well, you can definitely saute with olive oil. Frying, because the temperature gets so hot, so high, it will break down the properties of the olive oil. So you certainly can, but it would burn a little bit quicker.
And smokes.
And smoke, but that's only if you're like deep frying.
Right.
The olive oils that we are showing you today, they're all superior quality extra virgin olive oils, meaning that they're the highest level of quality, highest level of polyphenols, which make olive oil so healthy for you, lowest levels of acidity. So they're like...
Polyphenols, what's that? That's like...
Polyphenols is what makes the olive oil so healthy. That's the anti-cancer and brings down...
Well, they say that the olive oil is good for you.
For heart disease, for cancer, for everything. I mean, there's just like a laundry list of items, but that's the number that you're looking for, the polyphenols. And the acidity levels is supposed to be below 0.8. The olive oils that we use are around 0.1 to 0.3. So they're really your highest level of healthy.
So you're, just like when you're preparing wine and making wine, you have different grapes. So you have different olives from the different regions and the different trees.
Different trees give you different cultivars of olives. So from Calabria, this particular one is Carolea. From the north, you might have something different like Leccio or Frantoio. So there's different cultivars that you're looking at. And then the process of actually making the olive oil, that's what makes it extra virgin. So they're picking the olives when they're still green, before they turn purple.
Right.
And they're putting them in a net. They never touch the ground. So it's like this very strict process that in order to be extra virgin, so they have to pick them, they have to put them in the net, and they have to press them within 6 hours.
Right.
They'll say 24 hours for virgin, but really for extra virgin, they need to be within the first 6 hours,
Right.
pressed all in a controlled temperature, cold pressed room, and bottled at
So
that
it's precious
source.
like when you're pressing grapes with
very,
wine.
very precious.
So I know I
yes.
like to make some wine once in a while, and
okay.
it's the same process. Now, sometimes you see extra virgin, then you'll see extra virgin. I mean, that would be what?
That's a marketing
scam,
It's
right?
extra virgin or virgin.
Right.
And that's the only thing, or olive oil, really olive oil and extra virgin. So that you should be looking at.
Very good. So when we get back, we'll be preparing this meatloaf, and you can tell us a little bit how you got involved with the olive oil business, and also about the Olive Oil of the Month Club.
Okay, sure.
So don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Breaking Bread, and I'm preparing a little comfort food, a little meatloaf. And we have our onions and mushrooms being sauteed, and we'll put this together in a few moments. But right now, we'll get back to Jennifer Callipo from the Olive Oil of the Month Club. So tell me, how did you get involved with this olive oil and importing and the club? And
Okay, well, my husband is from Calabria,
okay,
and he moved here about 12 years ago. And his family always made olive oil, and he had a passion for food and great quality products. So he started the Italian Olive Oil of the Month Club with some friends, and we were really just searching for the best olive oil from each region, and thought it would be a great idea. Thought other people would be interested in learning about the different types of olive oil and the different regions of Italy. So we're kind of taking people on a tour through Italy each month. 1 month we're in Tuscany, 1 month in Sicily, 1 month in Calabria, and we try to give them as much information as possible about not just the olive oil, but recipes that they can use the olive oil, and historical events going on in that region during that month. If it's Easter, we talk a lot about the Easter-specific recipes that they make in that region. And then we started seeing that there were restaurants and some gourmet shops that were also interested in this level of quality. So we started working with some restaurants in Manhattan and Brooklyn, and here we are 7 years later.
so you do a lot of traveling.
We do some traveling. We do. We're going to Italy this week.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I
So
love
we
Italy.
go and meet directly with the small producers, which is really great. So you get to see the lands where the olive oil is coming from, get to meet the farmers that are pressing them, and putting their hands on these olives, and then we're lucky enough to bring them over.
Now, how do you become a member of this Olive Oil of the Month Club?
It's really easy. You can call us, or you can go on our website and sign up, and it's $34 a month to join, and we only bill month to month. And then you are then a member of the Italian Olive Oil of the Month Club. You can then buy some of our other products on our website. You can also join the Product of the Month Club, where you get small batched artisanal products from the different regions as well. And you also get invited to some of the events that we do in the area, and it's really fun. Some of our members have been part of the group for years.
Now, what are some of the events that you hold?
We'll do olive oil dinners at restaurants, so a prefix menu based on olive oil. So each course, like you would do with wine, each course is finished with a different olive oil from a different region. So you really get to learn, and we do a lot of tasting events, teaching people the correct way to taste olive oil, and then showing them the differences in the flavor profiles.
It sounds very interesting.
Thank
It
you.
really does. You know, olive oil,
I'll have
I
to
guess.
invite
I'd like to become a member. I would.
Okay.
But I have to say, olive oil is, I guess, a staple for Italian cooking.
Yes.
Along with tomatoes and garlic, of course.
That's what we always say.
But,
Bread, wine, olive oil, cheese. If you have that in the house, you're set. And pasta.
So I just prepared here, we mixed the meat together. I threw in an egg, I threw in my thyme, the bread that was soaked in a
Smells
little bit
amazing.
of club soda. And now I'm going to throw in my mixture of onions and mushrooms, sauteed in your olive oil.
Okay. Smells so great.
Smells great, right? I guess it's the olive oil. Mix this a little bit. Normally, I don't wear gloves in the kitchen, but when
Okay.
you're mixing a meatloaf together,
Okay.
and I like to put a lot of vegetables, so I put a lot of mushrooms. I put like a whole onion in, and about, I would say about a half a pound of mushrooms.
It looks so creamy. Everything's mixing so well together now.
But I like
That's
it
hot.
moist. So, and you don't want to really mix it too much. You want to have all the distinct flavors and ingredients, keeping their own texture and identity. A little here, a little salt,
Oh.
a little technology,
I like that.
a little pepper.
That saves time.
Now, if I didn't have the mushrooms and the onions sauteed in the olive oil, and the club soda with the bread, and if it was a little dry, then I would add a little bit of olive oil right
Okay.
into this mixture here. So, okay. If you would coat that pan with a little bit of the olive oil.
Sure.
I'm going to put this right in the pan here. That's good. Just spread it around. Just go like this. It'll work itself. Now, is this a medium body olive oil? Because I could see, it's almost like wine, the lines on the glass.
Right.
It's very similar.
It's this would be a light to medium fruity olive oil. That would be the classification in flavor. Density, yes, it's very dense and thick.
I'm just going to pour this right in. I'm going to form it right in the pan. As you can see, it almost formed itself.
Right.
A little divine intervention there.
The olive oil will keep
But
it
now with a
from,
meatloaf, a lot of people have a tendency to make it oval. I like to make it almost like a rectangle.
Huh,
And you
that
want
would
to
make
pat
it.
down the center because you want the center to cook evenly with the edges. A lot of times when the edges cook but the center is not cooked yet.
Right.
So I try to make almost like a complete rectangle. And flat on top.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
That
you're gonna wrap
olive
it
oil.
with this delicious
Yes,
bacon.
I'm then going to wrap it with the bacon. Gives it that nice flavor. And on the ends, I'm actually going to tuck them in the bottom. And that's going to hold the meatloaf together as well.
It's gonna be nice and crispy.
Now, we were talking about the olive oil being like a staple for Italian cooking. Even in the church, I mean, we use olive oil. We use them for the oils that we use. We have the oil of the catechumen. We have the oil of the infirm that we use for, well, the oil of the catechumen is used for adults and babies
Is it
before they're
extra virgin?
baptized. I believe it's extra virgin. I'm sure the church only uses the best. And then we have the oil of the sick, the oil of the infirm that we use to anoint the sick. And then we also have the chrism oil that is used also at baptisms, confirmations. It's used to ordain priests and the dedication of churches.
Okay.
And it's blessed during the chrism mass during Holy Week. And then it's blessed by the bishop, and then it's used throughout the whole diocese for all the different events.
That's so interesting. We should do a segment on that.
Yes, maybe you
our
can
brochure.
supply the churches with
Yeah.
the olive oils.
Why not?
So now after we put the bacon around this, Then what I'm going to do is throw some tomato sauce right on top. I'm just going to sprinkle it just like this, because this is going to
Just a little.
just a little. It's going to make its way when it's cooking. And
So
then-
that keeps it extra moist
Yes.
inside? Okay.
And then also, I have here some peas, sweet baby peas.
Okay.
Just throw these on top.
And where does this recipe come from?
You really want to know?
Yes.
My mother.
Okay. And where is she from?
My mother is from Bari in
Okay.
Italy. My mother's deceased now, but my mother was born here in this country, but my grandparents come from Salerno and Bari.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of these recipes that I had, and I kind of like, took the basic recipes that they had and I just kind of perfected them a little bit. So we're gonna bake this in the oven for about, I would say about a good hour, an hour and 10 minutes at about 350 degrees. So I'm gonna put this in the oven and we'll be right back, don't go away, and we'll taste some olive oils and we'll taste some of our meatloaf. Welcome back to Breaking Bread, and we have Jennifer here from the Italian Olive Oil of the Month Club, and I think now we're going to taste some olive oil. I
Great.
had wine tasting. I did some wine tasting.
Okay.
I remember going to Napa Valley, and we tasted all the different wines, and there was a place where you can go and taste olive oil, and I wanted to do it, but I thought we were going to dip the bread in the olive oil.
This is very similar to
But
wine
we were
tasting.
they were just drinking it. I said, no.
To get the real flavor, you really just want to taste it raw without any bread for the first time. So we're going to do two today. We're going to do a light fruity olive oil and then a medium fruity olive oil. So this is the olive oil that we were using before to
Right.
cook with. The Catolea is the cultivar. So I'm going to just pour it in the spoon for you, just a little bit. And then the first thing you're going to do is smell it.
Right.
So first you're using your nose to taste it.
Smell the aroma.
Exactly, the kind of
Now I have to
sweet,
say-
floral,
It is a little
tomatoey.
flowery.
And then you're going to just kind of inhale it and suck it in. So you kind of slurp it, and that opens up all the flavors. So it's kind of subtle at the nose and then just opens up with a little pepper taste. And that peppery flavor that you taste, that's the polyphenol. So
I do
when you're
taste that
tasting
peppery flavor.
extra virgin olive oil, you want to make sure that it has that. That's the polyphenols that ensures that it really is extra virgin. If it's flat, it's a blend, it's refined, it's canola oil.
Right.
So
Reminds
that's the
me when
first
I
one.
was a little kid and I got sick and I had to take my medicine and I had to sip the whole thing.
Right, the whole thing.
Now what is this one?
This one is from Abruzzo. It's from a wonderful producer
Abruzzo.
called La Salvolta, and this is called Electum. So this would be a medium body olive oil. So you could use this to finish pasta,
Right.
to
Salads.
maybe grilling meat. So it has a little more flavor. It's
So this is a medium body, the other
medium
one's
body,
a little
yes,
light.
medium intense fruity. So it's a little bit greener. We're tasting it on metal,
Right.
but if it was in clear, you would see the color is different. It's a little
Now
more
this has almost like a woody.
woody, artichoke,
Yes.
roasted vegetables.
Roasted, right.
A little bit greener, grassier in flavor.
Heavier, definitely heavier.
And then it has more of that bite at the end. So can you see the differences between
Yes.
the two? There's a distinct difference.
I mean, it's very similar to wine and wine tasting. And a lot of times when you're cooking with olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, you really don't take into account then, the flavors and the thickness or the heaviness of the body of it.
Yeah,
And,
there's something new to learn.
That's great. Thank you so much. Well, Jennifer, our meatloaf is all done. In a few minutes, we'll be able to taste it. But I want to thank you for coming here and being on our show and
Thank you for
telling us
having
all
me.
about different types of olive oils that you import in the Olive Oil of the Month Club. And I'd like to get some more information.
Okay.
And if any of our viewers would like some, we can give it to them as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you'd like some information about the Olive Oil of the Month Club, the information is right here as well. Thank you. Thanks for being with us.
Okay.
Once again, thank you for being with us here on Breaking Bread. I'll see you next time. Thank you once again for joining us as we go into our neighborhoods to meet the members of our church family in Brooklyn and Queens, where they are, in their kitchens and around their tables. We hope we have taught you something today, not only about the dishes we have prepared, but also about the great people who make up our family of faith in our ethnically diverse city. The 3 F's of life are faith, family, and food. And there is no better way to experience them all than in our kitchens and around our dinner table at the end of each day. You just have to make the time to make it happen. This is Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello, reminding you that together we can continue to build the church by devoting ourselves to community, prayer, the teaching of the apostles, and the breaking of the bread. May God bless you always.